Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Ron Wheeler, and I want to welcome you to our presentation today, how to generate 3% per month with one option trade per week. Good to have all of you with us. We're going to start officially here in about 3 minutes, but what I like to do is just make sure that all the technology is working. So do me a favor, if you can see my screen, it should say on air, and it says type yes if you can hear me and see my screen. Do me a favor, just in the questions box, go ahead and type in a Y or yes or something just to let me know that you can hear me and everything is good to go. All right, now I see them kind of flying in there. I see Kendrick and Daniel. All right, oops, I cannot see anybody else because my screen is all screwed up. See, this is why I start the class early. That way I have my question boxes ready to go and I've got everything good to go. And all right, I can see a couple more, Amrish and Lou and Tim. All right, good deal. Looks like Howard as well. All right, good deal. Looks like I'm seeing a bunch of names pop in there now. Now they're flying a little bit too far for me to read them all individually. So good deal. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so welcome again to our presentation. And like I said, we're going to be here today for about an hour and 10 minutes or so, then followed by a Q&A. Got a lot of great stuff to share with you, and I hope you're really excited. I'm just kind of wondering while we get started here, what is the time by you? It's almost 4:30 here. I'm in Ohio, so I'm always curious to see where you guys are viewing from. It's always kind of neat because I was an old road dog back in the day. I had to travel everywhere in the world, so now I don't have to do that. I'm sitting here from my home office, just nicely and casually doing a webinar. It's so nice to be able to do that. I see 5:30. 5:30 is a little bit east of us. 2:30, Daniel. So you're out there in the western area. Oh, Alberta. Okay, cool. I see 4:30. A lot of 4:30s. 4:30, 4:30. 9 p.m. Okay, that's over in Europe, or like probably England, right? 4:30, 4:30, Tim. Cool. All right, well, it looks like the majority of you are kind of right near me. 4:30, 3:30, right in that central, and there's a couple of you folks out in Europe. Lot of good mix today. I like it. I like it when we broadcast these bad boys all over the place. And then do me a favor, I'm just kind of curious. What do you do for a living? You're tired, you still work? When I first created this idea, I really created this idea for the retiree. Somebody who is, wants to trade part time, doesn't want to spend hours in front of their screen. So I kind of put this together for someone who wants to have a very minimal, screen time and wants to kind of do this in a very, very hands off manner. Well, I found out over the years that pretty much everybody wants to do that. So it's kind of interesting. I have a great mix. You know, I'll talk more about this as we start officially, but, I'm 47. I'll be 48 in another couple months here. And what I'm going to show you today is really how I trade. You know, I've transitioned from being a day trader way back, from 97 to like 2010 to doing this options approach where I can do just as well, but spend a tenth of the time in front of the screen. That's the beauty of it. So it's kind of great. Options really open up a world to a much more hands-off approach. I see lots of retirees. Tim, Howard, you mentioned you're retired but trade stocks every day. It's a good thing to do, I think. I know that my wife sometimes, like when we went on our vacation a couple weeks ago, and she's like, "Are you really going to work during your vacation?" I'm like, "Yes. Why not? I can do it from anywhere." So, I taught my classes, I traded my stuff, and why not? Right? Very hands off. That's the cool part about being a trader and being an investor like this. It's really fun. Okay. Daniel working the 35 SPX. I love it. Kendrick retiring at the end of the year. All right, cool. Well, hopefully we can get you to where you can make some good, consistent income, regardless of whether you're retired or not. All right, it is 4:30. So let's officially get started. I want to welcome all of you to today's webinar. It's called How to Generate 3% per month with as little as one option trade per week. And this is the system I developed here at VectorVest that helps us generate income really in any market. And the information I'm going to share with you has not only changed my life, I've seen it change the lives of so many people. So I hope you're excited about it as well. In this webinar, you're going to begin seeing how you could be making a paycheck averaging 3% per more a month. Now keep in mind, you can do this regardless of market direction. We've been bullish for like the last 7 months. We just switched to bearish. It doesn't make a difference. You can do it with little to no prior experience with options. It can be safer than buying or selling stocks. And it's something that you can implement quickly. Now, I know it may sound too good to be true. You might be thinking, is this legit? You want some proof? Well, I would if I were you as well. I see all those overhyped ads of, oh my God, 0 days to expiration trading, make 600%. And, you see all these influencers out there with their crypto crap. And sorry for my bad language, it just irritates me. I get it, right? I'm not like that. I like to let the results stand for themselves. Now, you're going to see some examples like this. My goal is to help you make on average of 3% per month. Well, this is my 2023 results. Every week, I have a real-time coaching class that I place real trades with. This is my result from last year. I, on average, take about 12 to 15 trades per month. I had about a 60% win rate last year, and I made 37 grand. That's 37.2%. Average winning trades about $1,000. Average losing trades about $1,000. I had 8 winning months, and I had 4 losing months last year. Could you make more than this? The answer is yes. You're going to see some clients of mine who actually did much better than this in their own trading. But as I said, I'm a more casual trader. So I like to hit that 3% per month on average goal. And you can see this year already, through the end of March, I don't have my April stats yet because obviously April is still going. And to be clear, I'm actually down a little bit in April. The market had its top and then it kind of changed directions. When we have a change in direction, I lose a little bit of money typically. So through the year so far, I'm already up about 10.2%. And my average winner 887 and my average loser 755. So what you're going to find out is this is a very safe concept. You're not going to have huge losses. You're not going to have huge wins because that's not how you make consistent income. But the key is it's consistent. It's consistent income. And no matter what happens the rest of the year, whether the market goes back up, the market goes back down, it doesn't make a difference. That's the beauty of this. I've been teaching this technique to students really since 2016. And one of my recent students sent me this email in December. And he said, hey, Ron, just wanted to send a quick email to thank you and your team for the SPX paycheck course back in September. I've been using this method and tracking my performance. Thought you'd like to see the results. I entered my first 35 Delta trade on September 21st with only 5,000 in my margin account. Now, less than 3 months later, I'm already up 24%. Thanks again. I'll be teaching this method to my retire in-laws to help them grow their income in retirement. And listen, I love to hear that. The key lesson here is this, by the way, you don't have to have 100 grand like I do. You can trade $5,000. Carrie's doing it. He's done very, very well. You can start small while you learn and practice. It builds up quickly. For example, if you started with 5 grand and you average 3% per month, over 15 years compounded, that puts you at $1 million. Now, if you start with 25,000, you'd be near $1 million after 10 years. You're looking at some serious money. Now, clearly, if you have more than $5,000 or $25,000, you get there much, much faster. Now, some of my clients were kind enough to share their photo and the results with you, and we're going to talk about a few of them today. These are real people just like you. And as I teach you the system today, and I'm going to share their stories, I want you to pay close attention because you might find you're in a similar position now as they were when they started. My name again is Ron Wheeler, and I'm the option income coach here at VectorVest. I've been trading for 27 years now. Back in 97 is when I got my first start. Now, when I first started trading, really for the first year or two, I had mostly losses. In fact, I blew out a couple of my first trading accounts. And the reason I was losing was because I was trading in a way that required me to be right to make money. If I bought something, it had to go up. If I wasn't right, I lost money. And then also, when I was right, I had to make sure I made enough money to pay for my losers. It's a very complex balancing act. Now, a big aha moment came to me when one of our clients, I taught technical analysis back in the day, who was a hedge fund manager, came to my office. He showed me the secrets to how these big institution guys trade and they make money. Long story short, he showed me the inside secret to using options. I was not an options guy. I didn't like options. And I'll tell you why I didn't like options as we go through the class today. He ultimately showed me that you could still make money even if your analysis was wrong. He showed me how to use options in a way that controls your risk. He showed me how to stack probability and control risk. Think of the pressure that takes off you. You don't even have to be right to make money. And there's no question on gains and losses. All the trades are set up in the beginning so you know exactly how much you win, exactly how much you lose. There's no ambiguity. So I started dabbling with options at that point. I was probably about 6 or 7 years into my trading career. And then finally, in 2012, I kind of made the big transition. I stopped being a commodities trader and a futures day trader, and I switched solely to options. And nowadays, I'm pretty much 99.9% options trading. It's all I do. It's just so much easier. It's so much more beneficial. So in today's webinar, I'm going to show you the exact system I use to generate these types of returns. I'm going to show you case studies and examples of our clients who are doing this. And then I'm going to show you our system so that if you learn and follow our strategy, you can do the same. And if you stay with me to the end, I put together a little checklist to help you plan out your trade. It's a PDF that I'll put right in the handout section of GoToWebinar. I'll drop it right in there. Just click on it and print it out. But do me a favor, when we get to the QA, just make sure you remind me because 9 times out of 10, I'm so into the presentation, I pretty much forget about it, okay? All right. Why is this such an important topic? Well, without an income system, it's on you, and that creates a number of problems for us. If we're not retired, it keeps us stuck in a situation where we have to work in order to live. Whether you got a lot of money or no money at all, concerns about finance are one of the leading causes of stress. Worrying about whether we'll have enough or if we're going to run out of money, that can have an impact on our life, our health, and even our relationships. If you're already retired, you might be watching that savings get depleted faster than you can fill it, especially with how prices have risen so much in the last few years. If things don't improve, you may fear you'll continue to have losses that draw down your account. You might even fear you'll have to give up on investing and go back to work. Worst case scenario, you run out of money during retirement. Now, with a system to help you generate income, things are a lot different. I think this is probably the most important point of the webinar, so pay attention. Even write down what I'm about to say. In order to be financially free, our main need is income. But to be financially free, all you need to learn is to generate enough income from your investments to cover your expenses and lifestyle needs. So let me say this one more time. In order to become financially free, all you need to do is learn to generate enough income from your investments to cover your expenses and lifestyle needs. Whether you're still working or retired, the ability to generate income from your investments is one of the most empowering skill sets you can have. Because when you have the ability to generate income from your investments, your life will change. If you're still working, you can increase your earning capacity. It's like having a second job. If you're retired, you can keep a consistent source of income. It's like you quit your job, but you keep that paycheck. It's like a tap you can turn on whenever you need. That's going to allow you to do the things you want to do now and when you retire. When you got a system that helps you generate income, it can help you retire younger. So as I said before, I think this is one of the most important points of the presentation, so I'm just going to say it again. When the income from our investments exceeds our living expenses, we become financially free or have the ability to retire. And you don't really need a lot to start out with. We talked earlier about Kelly. This is Brian. Brian's a client of ours who's a great example of how easy you could become proficient at drawing an income, even if you don't have a lot to invest with. Brian said he had some health problems and needed a way to supplement his income. By using the options paycheck system, he was able to generate $23,000 in profit starting with just $6,000. He achieved a 100% winning trade rate in 10 months. Brian had 31 of 31 winning trades. That's the cool part. You're going to go on some win streaks like this. And he was using our most basic system. And the key point I want you to remember is that this is not beginner's luck. It's the result of following the system. That same system that helped Brian get 100% winning trades and create that $23,000 in profit. And again, he started with only $6,000, and this was in 10 months. Now, the first thing you need to know to take control of your returns, it's a bit of a strategic mindset shift. You're either going to continue being the gambler where you lose more than you win, or you're going to become an option seller and win more than you lose. Now, being an option seller, this is the way that you can make consistent income each month, and it allows you to win even when you're wrong. Now, the reason why you want to be the casino or the house is that the house always wins. They may have a losing day, but they're going to win overall. Now, why do they win? Number two, the house always wins because they control and stack probability in their favor. And that's what the options paycheck system is built around, the stacking of the odds massively in your favor. So, make a note of that. In order to control your returns and results, you need to know how to stack probability in your favor. And the obvious question now is, how do we do it? Well, that first step is the shift from being the buyer of options to being the seller. So let me explain. Bruce is a great example of that shift from gambling on stocks to being the casino and controlling and stacking probability in his favor. He said prior to working with us, he had mainly taken stock tips from brokers. Now, Bruce focused on our SPX income system, which is our most basic trading system. He said he's not the most technical person in the world. But in the time he's been working with us, he's grown his trading account from $100 to $497,000 in 3 years. He's achieving a 74% win percentage simply by following the rules of the options paycheck system. And the whole system takes him around 15 minutes a day. His words. So let me show you how this works. Here's an example of a typical trade you've been taught to make. You find a stock you like, you think it's going to go up, so you can either buy the shares of the company or you can buy a call option. Now, why do you buy a call option? Well, mainly when you start learning options, it's what you were taught to do, right? If you think a stock will go up, you buy a call on it. If you think a stock will go down, you buy a put. But what ends up happening a lot of times? Either the stock doesn't go up, or this is what irritated me the most. It doesn't go up enough. And what ends up happening is your option expires worthless. Does that ever happen to you? That describes my beginning as an options trader. I would buy these options on markets I thought were going up. They would end up going up, but not enough, and my option would expire worthless. Well, what's the problem that's causing you to lose? Well, most people feel the problem is maybe they picked the wrong stock. Fair enough. As an option trader, it might be the wrong strike price or the wrong expiration. But let's talk about the real problem. If you've been losing money or had more losers than winners with other option systems, it's not your fault. It's because most of the systems on the planet teach you to be on the wrong side of the trade. You're taught to buy an option. But as a buyer, the probabilities are simply not on your side. And for most people, they end up buying and losing and buying and losing and buying and losing. Our options paycheck system teaches you a new way of thinking. You need to be a seller and not a buyer. That's how you get ahead of everyone else. This is how you put probability on your side. It's how you can win even if you're wrong. So let's take a closer look at what selling options is all about. Now, as a buyer, a typical trade gives you about a 50-50 chance to be a winner. Because when you buy, the only way you make money is if the stock moves in your direction. So instead of having that buyer's mentality, we are going to shift into a seller's mentality. Instead of hoping a stock goes up, as a seller, you're going to strategically set up your trade using probability. Now, probability tells you where the stock is not likely to go. So instead of needing the stock to just go in your direction, stock's at $204 a share, it just going in your direction, what we can do is pick a price underneath the stock that says, hey, as long as this $204 stock stays above 195, we can make money. Now think about that. Remember we talked about how we can be wrong and still make money? I think this stock is going to go up. And if it does, you make money. But now, if it goes sideways, we can make money. And as long as it stays above 195, which is about an $8 buffer, we can still make money. Right from the start, probability is in your favor. And in some instances, we can go as high as like 70% probability by choosing a lower price, and that gives you an area, a bigger area where you can be right. And a lot of our trades that we do start off in that 70% statistical probability. And the only way you can really do this is as an option seller. As a seller, you're putting the probability of success in your favor, and that's the definition of an income trade. An income trade, very simply put, is one where you can make money even if you're wrong on direction. Now, you remember Bruce? He continues to trade with me every week. In fact, he posted in our private group and said, another day of trading on the beach. Got my eyes on AMC and a cold beer. Life's good. Thank you, VectorVest and Ron, for giving us the tools to do what we do from anywhere. That's a great picture of being financially free. Now, Mike was someone who dabbled with options but said he lost on each trade. Have you ever been there? Can you imagine how frustrating that's got to be to lose on each of your trades? Well, eventually he just gave it up. He went back and tried to learn more about the options markets, the options trade. But he said he never felt comfortable. He knew what he was doing. He had all this knowledge, but no set criteria of how to use it. So he worked with me. I taught him the options paycheck system of being an option seller, and it was like a switch for him. It just was like a light bulb. After he learned the system, he immediately went out and said he had 17 out of 19 winning trades. He had a profit of 12 grand in 4 months. And again, the key lesson here is he went from buyer or gambler to seller or the house. That turned his situation around immediately. He was so proud of his success, he even sent me a spreadsheet of his trades. Here's Mike's results. I want you to notice the number of winners compared to losers. That's that profit column versus loss. That's pretty typical. Also notice the length of trade. You got one that's 2 days, you got some 7 days, some 10 days, some 6 days, some 9 days. He's pulling in about $1,000 every 7 to 10 days. And if you're like Mike and most of our students, you can begin trading the SPX, and that's the index that tracks the S&P 500. This involves only one trade per week, and it's averaged about 4.5% per month since 2016. The odds are stacked in your favor on these trades. You're not looking for one big home run trade to become a millionaire overnight. You're growing your account steadily each year. And that's really the takeaway here. Home runs, they might look good, they make great advertisements, but singles are how we win the trading game. These singles are what will enable you to never run out of money because it's low risk and to be able to do the things that you want to do. Okay, so you've seen by flipping that switch from buyer to seller, you can stack the odds significantly in your favor. Now we're going to stack the odds even further by understanding and capitalizing on the 3 most common buyers or gamblers' mistakes. Mistake number 1 is that buyers choose unrealistic strikes. They choose strikes that are so far away, the stock has no chance of hitting it. Let me explain. Here's a stock. Let's say someone was bullish on the stock. So a mistake a lot of option buyers make is they buy calls with strike prices way up here. So the stock's at 217. They go out and they buy a call at 230. Now, what that basically means is this. They're really not going to make any money unless the stock goes up at least $17 or $18 a share. Why would you get into a trade where you would not make money unless the stock goes $17 or $18 in your favor? Well, they do it because the options are very inexpensive. That option might only cost you 50 bucks. People treat this like the lottery, like a scratch-off ticket. Well, guess what? Every now and then you might win on a scratch-off ticket, but I'm not putting my IRA into the lottery. You know what I mean? Most of the time, these lottery tickets lose. Now, since there's always going to be buyers out there who buy these options, you might as well be the one who sells it to them. Because when you sell them these options, that gives you a high probability of winning. And the same goes for puts. Some people who buy puts down here, they're either doing it as a cheap lottery play, or maybe they're buying insurance for a stock they already own. It's called a married put. Listen, it doesn't matter why they're doing it. Since there's always going to be buyers out there who buy these low probability options, you may as well be the one who sells it to them because that gives you a 60 to 90% probability of success right from the very start of the trade. Now, the second mistake that buyers make is they choose options that have expiration dates that are way too close to the current date. It's like going to the grocery store and seeing a piece of steak on the discount rack. It's cheap, but it's going to be worthless really, really soon. And the same is true for options. Here you see what happens to the price of an option in relation to the number of days in expiration. Let me get my laser pointer out here. This is about 130 or 180 days, to expiration. And you see what happens is as the option gets closer and closer to expiration, the time value of the option starts to decline. So the option's losing its value slow, and then all of a sudden, right about here, it gets really, really fast. In that final 45 days of an option's life, the time decay becomes very, very fast, exponential, in fact. Well, the problem is a lot of options buyers, they like to buy in that final 45 days because the options are cheaper. They've given all of their premium. 50% of the premium has declined already. What we're going to do as option sellers, we're going to put that decay to work for us. We're going to sell options in that final 45 days. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate, we're going to sell within 21 to 45 days. That's our key sweet spot of where we sell our options, 21 to 45 days away. Now, let me kind of put this on a picture of a graph. This is Home Depot. It's from a couple of years ago, but it doesn't matter. Stock's a stock, time is time, it makes no difference. Let's say you're bullish on Home Depot. A lot of buyers will go out there, buy an option maybe a month, month and a half away. Well, the problem with that is in that final month, month and a half, the time value of the option is rapidly decaying. As a buyer, that is terrible for you. Because when you buy something for $100 and it's losing value very, very quickly, that's no good. But as a seller, you're selling the option with the hope that it loses its value quickly. That's what's happening here. Even if the stock trader has the stock go in their favor, that time decay is dripping, dripping, dripping. It's making their option worthless. As a seller, this is a big thing in your favor. Now, the third thing is paying too much for options. Now, this is something that a lot of option traders don't understand or really don't pay attention to. It's very important. I want you to notice both of these stocks are right around 76 bucks. In fact, they're within 12 cents of each other. So basically the same price. But take a look at the option premium. Over on the left, you've got a $75 call, same expiration as over on the right. It's $75 call, same expiration. The option on the left is going to cost you $910 in premium. The option on the right is only going to cost you $180. Well, who cares, right? What's the difference? Well, the big thing is, first off, why is that option on the left 4 times the price of the option on the right? Well, that's because that option on the left has extremely high volatility. When volatility rises, options become very expensive. Now, who cares, right? It's kind of like, when my kids want strawberries. I go to the store, I buy a pint of strawberries. Sometimes I pay $2, sometimes I have to pay $6. Well, the kids like strawberries and they're going to eat them, so who cares? They're still going to get the same satisfaction, right? Options are different. So let's simulate that both of these stocks over the next month and a half go up $8 a share. Well, they do, and I want you to take a look at the profits of the trades if it goes up $8. Over on the left, with that expensive option, you would have lost money. Can you imagine how that must feel? You pick the stock, it goes in your direction, everything's perfect, and you lose. Over on the right, that option trader made like a 400% return. What was the difference between the two? Volatility. The option on the left had high volatility, the option on the right did not. That option trader on the left simply paid too much. Now, here's the cool part. That too much premium is a big advantage for me as an option seller. The more premium that I can collect, the lower risk I have in the trade, monetary risk, and the more probability I can add into that trade. So I search out these really expensive, high volatility options. When you do this, you're stacking probability even more. Now, Bob has one of the most interesting stories I've seen. He said prior to working with us, he was making a bunch of the mistakes we talk about here, and it cost him dearly. In fact, he said he either ended up broke or bankrupt 3 times. In his own words, came close to living under a bridge. The options paycheck system helped him turn his situation around in as little as 4 months. He learned to turn those mistake liabilities into strategies that helped him control and stack the probability in his favor. He said in 4 months, he grew his account by 71% and achieved a 79% winning trade percentage. Remember, folks, in order to control your returns and results, you need to know how to control and stack probability in your favor. So let me ask you a question. I want you to type in the chat. For those of you that have ever traded options, have you ever made any of those buyer's mistakes? Just type a yes or no in the chat. That's cool. I'm just kind of curious to kind of pull to see how you guys are so far as option buyers and traders. All right, yep, I see a lot of yeses. Amrish and Tim, Nick, Tom, yep. Again, we've all made these mistakes. That's how I know they're mistakes, because I've made these mistakes as well. Now listen, anybody for the most part who's bought options has made 1 or 2 of these mistakes. It's not our fault. We just weren't taught properly, or quite frankly, we were taught a broken system. Now that you hopefully know you want to be an option seller, let's look at how to trade with very little risk. Because when a lot of people hear the word options, and especially the term selling options, they think it's risky. However, the options paycheck system uses a very low risk strategy for selling options. And this is why it's one of our core strategies we teach our retirees. And why is reducing risk so important? Because most people who don't use the options paycheck system, they're not preserving their capital. They might have one bad trade wipe out the gains from a bunch of winners. And when that happens, it becomes very, very hard to recover those losses. It's a big uphill climb. But you can prevent this. It's really easy. To prevent those losses with the right system in place, you're going to have a built-in protection plan. You're going to take care of risk management before you even open the trade. Because when you can confidently select stocks and set your trades up in a way that reduces risk, it allows you to preserve and grow your capital. Like I said earlier, home runs look good, but those singles are what win the games. Now, one of the big common questions I get is, can you do this in an IRA? Well, in fact, you can. I do it in an IRA. I know a lot of my colleagues do. And a client of ours, John, grew his IRA over 112% in 1 year using the options paycheck system. I told you, listen, I shoot for 3%, but we got a lot of clients that are beating that by quite a bit. John tried and struggled with trading for some time before working with us. He learned to follow the system, and he turned his inconsistent results into predictable monthly income. In 12 months, he had 85% winning trades, and he more than doubled the size of his IRA, and he said he spent no more than about 15 minutes per day on his trading. Now, the options paycheck system, make sure you reduce your risk before you even open the trade. First, we choose stocks that are low risk. We have a very specific criteria, but in general, if we're bullish, we start by focusing on good stocks that are already rising in price, kind of similar to what you would see here. Then, instead of selling an option naked, we're going to sell with protection. So let me show you how to do this. Okay? A traditional option selling system leaves you with all this risk down here. But what we're going to do by doing this safer is we're going to limit our risk just to that. So let me show you how this works. This is, again, a typical stock you'd be bullish on. It's a beautiful graph. It's understandable to be bullish on a stock that looks like this. Now, traditionally, people would buy the stock here, or they would even use the stock price as a basis for their option strike price, and they would just buy an option there. But that's not what we're going to do. We're going to go underneath the stock price. We think this stock is going to go up. So we want to create an area where the stock can go up, down, or sideways. So we're going to go down to this 135, and we are going to sell a put. Why do we sell a put if we're bullish? Well, for those of you that have traded options before, if you buy a put, right? If you buy a put and the stock goes down, you win, you make money. However, if you buy a put and the stock goes up, you would lose money. Why would you lose money? Because the option that you bought is losing value. It's kind of the reverse. So when the market's going up, we sell a put in the hopes that the option loses value. When we sell this option, we're going to collect $200 per contract. If you traded 10 contracts, you'd collect $2,000. Now, here's the problem. When you sell that option, you have all this risk on the table. What does that mean, all this risk? Well, first off, let's talk about what an option is. When you sell an option, it's not like when you sell something on Facebook Marketplace, right? You sell a dinette set, $500. Somebody comes and picks it up, they take the dinette set, they give you $500. Sale is done, it's over, everybody goes on with their life. Options are like insurance policies, if you will. Like, I just paid my car insurance a couple weeks ago, right? How does that work? Well, I write a check to my insurance company for 6 months of premium. For the next 6 months, they have the obligation to protect my cars in case of an accident. If I don't get into an accident, the contract expires worthless. The insurance company never had to live their obligations. They keep all the premium, rinse and repeat. Options are the same way. When I sell a put, I have the obligation to possibly buy the stock. Well, here's the problem. Let's say you sell a put at 135 and the stock goes down to $100. If you're forced to buy the stock at 135 and now the stock's trading at $100, yeah, you could make $2,000 here, but now you probably just lost $25,000. That's bad. We need a way to limit this risk. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that premium that we received. We're going to go a little bit farther down, and we are going to use that premium to buy insurance. That's going to lock our risk to that red spot. The most I can lose at this point is $5. Now that insurance policy cost me something, in this case $100. So I sold the option, I got paid 200 bucks. I bought the option and I paid 100. That leaves me with a credit of $100. I get paid to place the trade. This money goes into your account. But it's not as good as you think it is yet, right? You're going to get paid 1,000 bucks if you do 10 contracts. But remember, it's not like Facebook Marketplace. You didn't just sell your dinette set and now you got the money. You have an obligation. It's like your insurance policy, right? You may be called upon to buy the stock. Now, let me assure you, in over 15 years of doing these types of trades, I've never had to actually go out and buy the stock because we'll be out of the trade way before that even becomes a possibility. Okay? So don't worry about that. Now, you might ask, well, Ron, if you never have to buy the stock, why the insurance? Because it's there to protect your losses. If this stock does go down to $100 a share all of a sudden, that insurance does limit you to your loss. It's very, very important. Okay? Now, think about what this trade does. If the stock goes up, you're going to make money. How do you make money? Because the options that are in your trade are going to slowly and sometimes very rapidly lose their value. You sold this trade for 1,000 bucks. My goal is to exit that trade later on and exit it for about 50% profits. So I sold it for 1,000. Eventually, I'm going to go out there and exit the trade with a $500 profit. Okay? Now, for those of you that have never done options or you're thinking, well, how do you do that? Options are no different than if you trade a stock. If I buy 1,000 shares of a stock, I can go out there and sell that stock anytime I want. Options are the same thing. I can sell an option position on Monday and I can exit it on Wednesday. I don't have to hold it or anything. They're tradable assets. I can trade them back and forth 100 times a day if I wanted to. Don't do that, but you can. If the stock goes up, the options that you are trading are going to rapidly decline in value. That's going to put money in your pocket when you exit the trade. If the stock goes sideways, the options are still going to decline. That puts money in your pocket, maybe a little bit slower. As long as the trade stays above 135, you still have the possibility to make money. And if the trade drops below 135, you are going to exit the trade with a small proportional loss. Okay, that's it. It's got a built-in stop, the option strike that you sold. All right, so let's do this. I want to show you a couple of trades I placed last year with my clients. Part of that 37%, by the way, I'm going to show you a couple of trades out of there. So I'm going to be showing you some numbers now, so pay attention to these numbers, they're important. First off, when the market's bullish, like it was for a while last year, it was bullish and bearish at times, we're going to place bullish trades. Now I want you to do a little quick tip here. We're going to pick the strike with at least a 60% probability of winning. So this is what a really good stock looks like. This is Pulte. Now this was in the summer. I think it was like mid-June, mid to late June. This is a beautiful stock. You look at this, you're like, I really want to own that stock. Well, we're never going to own the stock. We're just going to trade options on it. Okay? So let's zoom in a little bit closer. Pulte is trading at $76. Now, if you didn't know this, option strikes have a built-in probability. So when you go to your broker, most brokers, 99% of brokers that can do options have this. It's either a straight probability percentage or they have what's called a probability calculator. Now, what this probability calculator does is it gives you a percentage that the stock will be at that price by expiration. So I go to my option chain and I see a listing of option percentages. So my stock is at $76. I go out to my option broker and I say, oh, a $75 strike price at 75 bucks, I've got a 56% chance of staying above $75 until expiration. So that would statistically give you a 56% probability. Because if I sell a $75 put in a bullish market, I have a 56% chance of staying above 75 bucks. It's already at 76. Now, if I go down and I see the $73 strike, the $73 strike has a 73% chance. So what that means is if I sold a $73 put on this stock, it has a 73% chance of being above that price by the date of expiration. And if I go all the way down here to 70, it has a 91% chance, and again, this is all based on statistics, how the stock is traded in the past. There's a 91% chance that Pulte will stay above $70 by the time that red line comes in, the date of expiration. Now, without knowing anything else about option selling, let me ask you a question. Type in the chat. Which option would you rather sell? Would you rather have a 56% chance of winning, a 73% chance of winning, or a 91% chance of winning? Be honest. What would you rather have in a perfect world? 56, 73, or 91? Exactly, 93. I see you guys, 93, 93, 93. Exactly right. In a perfect world, we would all love to have I'm sorry, 91. We would all love to have a 91% success rate. But here's the problem. Let's say that 91% statistical trade has an average profit of $1,000 per trade. But then the losing trade has a $15,000 loss. One bad trade wipes out a bunch of winners. Why does that happen? Because like anything in life, too much of something is not good. Too much probability exposes you to huge risks. Okay? Now, what we want to do in a perfect world is maintain in that 60 to 70% range. So, what we're going to do is we're going to seek out these options in that 60 to 70% range. Why? Why 60 to 70%? Because this is where you have that perfect harmony, the perfect marriage of probability and good risk management. This is why a lot of option traders lose, and especially option sellers, because they get what I call seduced by probability. Oh my gosh, this trade's got a 90% chance of winning. But then they don't look at what happens on that one time it loses. They get killed. So the key is we've got to maintain a good risk and reward on these trades. And that happens in that 60 to 70% range. So this was the actual trade that I made. This trade is called a bull put spread. Very aptly named. Bull, because it's something I do when I'm bullish on a stock. Puts, because I'm using puts. I'm simultaneously selling a $73 put that's going to have a 60 to 70% probability of expiring worthless. And then I'm going to buy a $70 put as my insurance leg. It's going to limit me to a $3 loss. Now, I'm going to show you an example of what happens when a trade goes very, very fast. In 3 days, this trade hit my profit. Now, I sold this trade for probably about $1,725. So when I entered this trade, I got paid $1,725. How do I know that? Because I take profits when I reach half of that. So this is where it gets a little bit weird for you that have never sold options. When you buy something, you buy low and you sell high. When you're a seller, you enter high and you exit low. When I entered the trade, I got paid $1,750. When I exit the trade, I give the broker back $870 and then I keep the $870 difference. That's how a credit spread or a bull put spread works. Now, that happened very quickly. That was a 3-day trade. They don't always happen in 3 days. That's just when the market moves right in your favor and it goes up very, very fast. Now, when the market's bearish, we place bearish income trades, which is what I have now. I have a couple of bearish trades on. One of them has already hit profits, and the other 3 are just kind of working nicely for me. Even today, by the way, the market was up like 50, actually it was up almost 70 points at one time, and all of my bearish trades are still in play. Didn't get stopped out of any of them today. This is an example of a bearish trade. This is Target. Target got smacked down last year for a lot of reasons. It was in an extended downtrend, and it had just broken below a previous support level. So let's kind of zoom in here. You win if Target stays below. Now remember, we're thinking this stock is going to go down. So we're going to kind of flip our trade. I want to now look above the stock and look at my probability. So now that red line is the expiration. It's probably about 30 days to expiration, maybe about 33 or 34, just guessing. I go out to my option chain and I see that, okay, it has a 64% chance of staying below 135 by the time it expires. So if I sell that 135 option, I have a 64% chance of winning. If I go up a little bit to 140, I have a 76% chance of winning. That means that there's a 76% chance that target will stay below 140 by the time the option expires. Then, if I look all the way up at 145, I have an 85% chance of that happening. So again, we know that we'd all love to pick 85%. However, that's where you get trapped into that one losing trade wipes out a bunch of winners. Remember, our goal is to be at least 60% right. So which option in this case do you think we would pick? A, B, or C? All right, I see a bunch of C's, and that's good. C is nice, 64%. I see a couple of you popping in there with B. Well, here's the cool part about this. All right, in this particular instance, I sold B, which was 76%. Now, if you recall my discussion earlier, remember how I told you that if you can find those high volatility overpriced options, we can increase our probability? Target was very expensive at the time. I normally like to be in about a 60 to 70% rate of success. So that 64% option would have been great, by the way. However, because the options were so expensive, I was able to actually get a 76% probability on this trade while maintaining a good risk to reward ratio. Now, this trade, a little bit different. It's called a bear call spread. Why? Well, number one, it's because I'm bearish. I'm expecting the stock or the market to go down. Calls, because I'm using calls. Not puts anymore. When I think a stock will go down, I sell a call. Spread, because there's a $5 difference between the options I traded. Now, this one's a little bit more typical. This trade, I took in about $1,530 when I first put the trade on. So when I put this trade on, I got paid $1,530. Okay? 7 days later, I exited the trade, and my option that I sold for $1,530 was now trading at $765. I was able to pay the broker $765. They paid me $1,530 when I entered the trade. I paid them back $765, and I kept the difference. $765. You'll notice that the market really didn't even go down very much. It's almost within a couple dollars of where it was. That time decay really worked in my favor. So when you're bullish, bull put. When you're bearish, bear call. Now, another client I worked with is Jim. He said prior to working with me, he told me his results were very inconsistent, and he said he felt unsatisfied. Can you imagine that? Right? You got to be keeping thinking that there must be something else out there that had to be better. You ever felt that way? Like there's something you're missing? Jim said he wanted a way to supplement what he was doing and have a more stable income with a higher probability of success. After learning the system of being an option seller, he told me he had 21 winners in a row and returned 76% in about 8 months, and his average trade only lasted 8 days. Can you imagine how that must feel to be going from inconsistent to where you rattle off 21 winners in a row? That's beautiful. Now let me ask you, that was Jim. How would an income system like this allow you to do? What would it allow you to do? Travel more, pay off debt quicker, pay off your house, retire instead of at the end of the year, at the middle of the year, the beginning of the year? I've shown you a bunch of different clients who were able to reproduce these results. And that to me is the key. It's not about me. It's not about the trades that I make. It's the trades that my clients who've learned this system can do. Okay? Think about what an extra 3% per month would allow you to do. That's the beauty. Now, it all goes back, okay, to this idea of buying is gambling, but selling is like the casino, right? You're putting the odds of success in your favor. That's how we generate income. The options paycheck system makes sure you have a guaranteed maximum risk. And it all goes back to whether you'd rather be the gambler or the casino. Because again, the house always wins in the end. Being that option seller is the way that you can make consistent income every month, and it allows you to do it more safely and with a higher probability of success than simply buying and selling stocks. Now, let's put this together. I want to show you how you can have a bulletproof system, what you can do in as little as 15 minutes a day. Now, my students who have implemented this system have told me this is one of the most important things they learned. Why? Because one of the biggest things people ask me is, well, Ron, how much time is this going to take me? And that's a great question. And there's a challenge to this. There's thousands of stocks out there. You got to find how to pick the right stock with the right strategy, know when to get in, what expiration, what price, what to do if it goes against you, all this stuff. And you feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack when you have all this information, right? There's so much data out there, you don't know where to look. You're spending hours putting together trades. You're listening to the gurus. You're watching CNBC. Ultimately, without a system, you're trading blindly. You're like a mouse that runs through a maze. You're bumping into all these walls. You don't know what to do. It's stressful. It's disheartening. But with the right system, you can identify good trades, get reliable income in as little as 15 minutes a day. But to do that, you need a system, and not just any system. A straight line system, a really simple way to know when to place your trades, how to find your trades, how to set them up, how to manage them. So let me walk you through the piece of the options paycheck system in the order they go in. You know, I know it sounds silly, but this is like the secret sauce. Nobody teaches option selling this way. There's 6 pieces, and the top 5 build on each other, and then that kind of 6 kind of ties them all together. At the top of the system is market direction, and a lot of traders just ignore this, and they go out and place their trades. You're either going to be placing trades that are bullish or bearish based on the current direction of the market. So you got to know how to find market direction. By doing this, you're narrowing your focus. We're only trading stocks that are moving in the direction of the market because that increases your probability of success. The options paycheck system has a built-in method of finding market direction. Now, once you have the market direction, it's time to select our stocks. We want to find stocks that are highly likely to move in the same direction of the market. So just trading the companies you know or what you see on TV or reading the IB, it's not the best idea. You want to find good stocks that are already moving up in an uptrend, bad stocks that are already moving down in a downtrend. What we use is a combination of fundamentals and trend analysis. We have a built-in selection in our VectorVest platform, and we can find these stocks really in a matter of seconds. That way you don't have to dig through all that data that the institutions throw at you. Once you got your list of stocks, you want a way to select the best ones for option trading. And earlier, we looked at how big of an effect volatility had on our options price, right? We're going to focus selling options that have that high volatility, but we don't stop there. To take even more risk out of the trade, we filter out upcoming earnings events because earnings can throw the stock in all kinds of different directions. We don't want to be involved in that. Remember, this is about income. And then finally, we want to make sure that expiration is in that sweet spot of decay. Now, you can use tools from your broker to help this. We happen to have a proprietary search tool which helps us find these pretty quickly, in seconds, in fact. Now you got to set up your trade. We got to pick the one that has a high degree of probability. And that probability is based on the strikes. Every strike has a probability. We want to sell typically in the 60 to 70% success rate. However, we also have to manage the risk and reward. There are going to be some trades out there that give you a 60 or 70% probability, but they're still going to have a risk of $5,000 and you can only make 500 bucks. Not every stock is a quality options income candidate. We got to know how to set the trades up right to make sure we're not having all that risk. Now, speaking of risk, the next step is trade management. You need to know what to do to get into a trade, to get out of a trade. When do you do it? I don't want you sitting like a deer in the headlights, frozen because you don't know what to do. Okay? Our paycheck system has rules to take profits at predefined levels. You can even set these up in advance with your broker. And if a trade goes against you, I even have a simple adjustment strategy that you can use that'll help you minimize your losses. We also know exactly when to exit a trade, and in some brokers, you can even set that order up in advance. That way it happens automatically. It's very unemotional. It just happens for you. And then last, you want a way to do this quickly. You don't want to be spending all day on the process. So you need some tools that allow you to do these things, and it should be something you're comfortable using. Some brokers have some great tools. IB has great tools. Thinkorswim with Schwab has great tools. E-Trade has great tools. Fidelity has great tools. Some brokers have tools that are better than others. You might find some paid tools to be effective. We like to use our proprietary tool from VectorVest called Options Pro, and that saves me a lot of time in this. Now, earlier we talked about Mike and Jim, and each of them said they're getting their results in about 15 minutes a day. Well, so is Hugh. He actually told me one of his biggest struggles was finding a system that was efficient and worked because he didn't have the proper balance between trading and free time. He didn't have that proper work-life balance. Are you like that too? Do you spend too much time on the things you don't want to do and not enough time on the things that you want to do? Now that Hugh learned the options paycheck system of selling options, he said he has more confidence, more free time. He can have more fun. In his first 43 trades, he had 38 winners and returned over $26,000 in 4 months. Now, here's what I want you to do, a little exercise. I want you to take your pen. I want you to put a little star next to the part of your system where you're good at. So, for example, if you have a quick way to find a list of stocks likely to go in the direction of the market, put a little star there. If there's an area where something isn't working or you need a little work, put a little frowny face there. For example, if you don't know how to manage and repair a trade, put a frown there. I don't want you to overthink it. Take about 10 seconds and give yourself a star or a frown. Take about 10, 15 seconds here and just kind of grade yourself where you are. Now, I'm willing to bet maybe 1 in 100 investors will ever know how to do this. So let me ask you, what areas do you need to work on? Give me some examples in the chat window. I'll give you about 5 seconds. Just start typing some answers in there. What areas do you need to work on to become proficient at drawing an income? All right, I see options down. Never traded options before. Well, first off, let me expand on that a little bit more. I like working with new options traders because I can teach you how to do things right from the start. I always say that, there's two activities I love in my life. I like bowling and I like golf. I'm pretty good at bowling. I'm moderately okay at golf. I wish I could go back and forget everything I know about those two activities. I hesitate to say sports because they're kind of, but anyway, and learn how to do them perfectly from the ground up. It's a beautiful thing if I could. And then I see, management. I've tried this before, didn't work out very well because I had more losers than winners. Listen, it doesn't ultimately matter where you answered you need work on. You know now where the area is you need to work on. In order to get you to where you can be successful, you need to have check marks or smiley faces all the way down. Because once you do, you'll be able to generate income every month and do it in less than 15 minutes a day. So listen, I can't know your exact reason to coming to today's webinar, but I'm going to make a few guesses here. Maybe you really haven't known what to do and you feel like you've been trading blindly. You're bumping from one wall into the next. It's left you with inconsistent results. You make some money, then you give it all back on your next trade, just like Jim did before he learned the options paycheck system. Maybe you've been suffering through loss after loss, and those small losses are killing your portfolio. Maybe the money coming in isn't exceeding the money going out. Maybe you're just not where you want to be. Now, today I showed you the secret to fixing that. And it's a secret I bet only 1 in 100 investors will ever know, and now you're one of them. You saw it's possible to win even if you're wrong. If you do it right, you can do it with little risk. It's even less risky than buying and selling stocks because you have a maximum risk. You saw the system to get consistent income every month. And I showed you just a few of the many, many people who use the system every day so they never have to worry about retirement again. You saw over and over the secret to generating your consistent income is that shift from being the gambler to the casino. You're going to be that one investor out of 100 who knows that secret. That means there's 99 other investors out there who will continue to do things wrong. They'll be buying options and making all the mistakes we talked about. Can't stop them from doing it. There's always going to be those investors out there who will buy options incorrectly. Let them be the gamblers. As long as there will be gamblers out there, you may as well be the casino. Because remember the old saying, the house always wins in the end. The options paycheck system teaches you how to stack the probability of success in your favor. Just like you saw Brian do, and Bruce, and Bob, and Jim, and Hugh, and John. So if you're like most people, you're probably wondering, well, how do I implement the options paycheck system in my portfolio right now? Well, you have a choice. Option number one is you can do nothing. Stay exactly where you are. And listen, if you already have enough to retire and you're not worried about running out of money, then maybe you don't need the options paycheck system. And hey, that's a great place to be, by the way. But if you would like to make some extra income every month, that leaves you with two other options. Number two, you can do it alone. Try to learn how options trade work, figure out the direction of the market, learn how to analyze the stocks right, hope you pick the right one, manage it correctly. If you're willing to work hard and spend hours in front of your computer and willing to learn by trial and error, you might be able to pull it off. But option three is to let us guide you through it. I'll walk you through each piece of the option paycheck system, and in just a few weeks, you're going to have a simple system to follow, and it doesn't take a lot of time. So of those three options, ask yourself what's going to be easier for you. There's two types of people. Person number one is someone who dreams about their financial goals, but they never take action or anything to make it happen. Person number two is someone who's serious about their financial future. You're ready to take action when you see a great opportunity in front of you. And since you're dedicated enough to be with me to this point, I'm willing to bet you're person number 2, and that makes you the perfect candidate to get started on that first options paycheck. So let me tell you what we put together for you. The options paycheck experience, this is the most comprehensive program for generating consistent income using option spreads there is. You can be successful again, even if you've never traded an option before. This is the only implementation program of its kind that it teaches the secret to generating consistent income with options. It shows you exactly how to find, set up, and manage option spreads to generate income, and how to do it safer and consistently in any market, so you never have that fear of running out of money. Now, after going through the experience, you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work, along with all the fancy terms, so you never have a fear of options again. You're going to have clear signals telling you whether to place a bullish, a bearish, and even when not to place trades. You're going to be able to quickly identify the stocks that are the best candidates for your option income trades. We're going to show you a rules-based approach, and this frees up a lot of time. You're going to set up income trades that give you a 70% or better statistical success rate, even if you've never traded an option before. We're going to give you a trade management game plan in place prior to placing your trade. That way you know how to handle any situation the market throws at you. You're going to be able to confidently enter and exit trades with your broker like a pro, whether it's your first trade or your 500th trade. And you're going to implement a system that allows you to safely and consistently generate income so you never have to worry about running out of money. You can live that lifestyle you want. Now, the course itself is 8 modules, and we made them so each module builds on the one prior. As you go through the modules, you're getting closer and closer to that end goal, which is a system for consistent income. Now, for those of you that are newer to options, these 2 modules, the first ones are what we call the option income foundation. Now, a lot of people try to build a successful income portfolio, but they base the portfolio on a weak foundation of knowledge. Listen, we understand what it's like to learn options for the first time. We've been there. That's why it pays to learn from a team who's gone through this before. The outcome you get in module 1 is you're going to know exactly how calls and puts work so you can confidently use them in your trades. You're going to know exactly which terms to pay attention to, which trades to ignore, or which terms to ignore. That way you're not wasting time or getting frustrated. In module 2, we're going to show you how a spread works, how to build it. You're going to be filled with all the confidence that you need to start building your system around this new trade. Now that you got that solid foundation of options knowledge, we're going to lay out the step-by-step training to placing those income trades to generate your options paychecks. Each step along the way stacks probability in your favor and reduces risk. And it all starts with knowing when to trade. Here, we're going to show you complete clarity on market trends. So instead of looking at all possible trades, you're going to be narrowing your focus. You'll know whether to place a bullish trade or a bearish trade, and even when not to trade. After you know the direction of the market, you want to find stocks that are highly likely to move in the same direction. This is going to stack probability even more in your favor. And the outcome you know here is how to find the best stocks and indexes to trade. It's going to give you the highest probability. After you got stocks, now we're going to get out to the best options candidates that are going to give you the highest probability for profits. Now remember, not every stock is a good options trade. So in this module, you're going to make sure you're getting paid top dollar for your trade and making so you can make money even if the stock doesn't go anywhere. You're going to continue to stack probability and reduce risk in module 6 by the way you set up your trade. Here, you're going to make sure the trade has the perfect combination of risk and reward, and you'll know exactly where to set your strikes. You know, great trades don't happen by accident. They happen because of careful planning and strategically setting them up correctly from the beginning. Now that you got your high probability trade picked out and you're ready to go, module 7, you're going to learn how to have your plan in place so you know whether to exit the trade, not only to take profits, but to minimize losses. You're never going to be frozen like a deer in the headlights again. No matter what the market throws at you, you're going to know how to react, and that allows you to trade stress-free. And then finally in module 8, you found the best stock, you got your low risk, high probability trade picked out, you mapped out your management plan, now it's the execution time. This is going to break down execution into simple, repeatable steps. You're going to be able to commit this to muscle memory in no time. Now, we put everything that we do into a checklist. That way you never miss a step. When someone's first starting out, it's always comforting having that security blanket to make sure you do everything correctly. And if you've never placed an options trade before, sometimes the broker can be intimidating. So in addition to the video walkthroughs of several brokers, we put together click-by-click directions for our most popular broker, Thinkorswim. That's the one that I use. Now, before we talk about the price of the course, I want to make it even more low risk for you. We offer a 100% money back guarantee on the course. You can go through the entire course. If you're not satisfied we taught you how to profit using options, just notify us within a week of finishing the course and you get your money back. It's no risk. The only caveat is we ask that you do the work. Come to the classes, the live classes, or simply watch the recordings. Do the assignments because we know if you do, you're going to get the results we promise. And if you don't do the work, you won't be eligible for a refund. The reason I do this is because I only want to attract people who are excited. They're going to jump in, they're going to do the work, watch the videos, interact with us. It doesn't matter live or recording, I don't care. I want to attract serious investors. In order to do that, when I make a tight refund policy, I only attract those people who are serious about getting results. And those results average 3% per month. That's 36% per year. Remember, it doesn't take a lot of time to do this. I received this from an email from a client who took the course. Ron, I'm writing to thank you for teaching the Options Paycheck course. I took your class last fall and wanted you to know the results from my past 10 months. I keep a journal to document every trade, and so far I've profited on 239 trades out of the 359 plays, a 68% winning trade rate. I've profited over 100 grand this time. What's more exciting is that since my knowledge and experience have grown in regards to taking really good risk reward trades, I've profited over 50,000 in the last 6 weeks. My success rate has been 78% over the last 100 trades, and I only take trades that 2 to 1 or better risk reward. Thank you for teaching this simple but effective system. Now, I told you earlier, I typically take about 12 to 15 trades a month. So over the course of 10 months, I may take 120 trades. Joe took 350. Is there anything wrong with that? Not at all. Scale the system up how you like it. Scale it down as little as 1 trade a week. It's beautiful. That's the great part about this. Trade as much as you want, trade as little as you want. The results should still be the same. Now listen, if I ask Joe, hey Joe, I'll give you 100 grand in exchange for 2,000 bucks, think he'd take that trade? Is that a trade you would take? Well, I got a great offer for you too, a great trade for you. Now, before I tell you more about it, I want to point something out. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Just understand, you're not going to become a millionaire overnight. This is serious and requires some effort on your part. So if you're not going to be able to do the work, then it's not for you. Okay? It's for serious people who take their investing seriously and who are willing to put in the time to learn the system. So if you're serious about this and ready to do the work and get the results, then the Options Paycheck experience is perfect for you. It's step-by-step training to go from basic options to a full, complete income-generating system. And these training modules alone are worth the price of the course. But we put together some good bonuses for you as well. Bonus number 1 is what we call the Mastery Package. And the Mastery Package includes module by module mastery sessions. Each week you're going to have 2 mastery sessions, one dedicated to each module to help you master the course material. Then on Friday, I'll have an additional live Q&A. So you're going to watch 2 recorded modules a week. Then you're going to meet with us 3 times. Now, if you can't meet all 3 times, it's not a big deal. I record all of our live sessions. So if you can't see the live sessions, you can watch the recording. Not a big deal. You're also going to get private dedicated email to me and the Options Paycheck team. If you don't have it, we're going to give you 2 months of access to VectorVest. And, well, it's not really 2 months. It's like a month and 3 weeks. But you're going to get access during the live portion to VectorVest and Options Pro. That way you can test drive our suite of tools. You don't need them if you don't want them, but we like to show off our stuff. Okay? With this package, you're going to get the tools and the support you need to master the techniques. That way you're ready to trade in the quickest amount of time possible. Now, in saying that, the second bonus is you're going to get the implementation month. In the second month of the course, you're going to get access to my real-time trading coaching classes. Every Monday, I have a trading class with my clients. I trade the SPX in the morning, and I trade stocks in the afternoon. You're going to get access to those. That's where I found Pulte, and that's where I found Target. That's the class that we made 37% last year. You're going to be able to watch me implement this in real time with real money. Okay? Also, we do 2 office hour sessions a week. Those office hour sessions are great. You can come in there. We'll cover the trades we did. We're going to repeat and show you the process for finding trades over and over again. A lot of my previous clients said this was the best part because they got to practice and see the implementation over and over. And that repetition really helps cement the concepts for them. Now, the third bonus is if you're worried that it might be too much trying to find stocks and all that kind of stuff, you can reduce this down to 1 trade a week if you'd like, a 15-minute a week trade using the SPX. 1 symbol, 1 setup rule, 1 profit stop rule. We also have live trading sessions for these. It's simple. It's an easy trade for anybody. My teammate Brian taught it to his then 14-year-old daughter, and she was able to do the trades. And for a lot of my students, this is the only system they use. It's how they start. So a quick summary. With today's offer, you're going to get the Options Paycheck Training Program, which includes 8 modules, videos, cheat sheets, checklists, everything you need, quizzes, slides, everything. The bonus mastery package, the implementation month, and the SPX paycheck system. That total value is about $54.75. So here's the opportunity in front of you. I'm going to roll up my sleeves and work with a couple hundred people who are serious about generating income. And if you're one of those people, together, we're going to create an income system in your portfolio, even if you've never had success with options. So if you want to join me and have me take you by the hand and install this option income system in your portfolio, then the early bird price for the course is just $12.95. Now, because you spent the last hour with me today, I want to have a special offer for those of you on the live event. If you order before the end of the webinar, instead of paying $12.95, you're going to get it for $9.95. That means you're going to get the full course, 1 year of access to the course materials, the mastery package, the VectorVest and Options Pro during the live curriculum. It's about 7 weeks long for $9.95. That $9.95 price will be only for those who register before we finish up today, because once we finish, the price goes back up to $12.95. Now listen, I understand that $9.95 is still a good amount to ask, but you got to ask yourself, what will it cost you not to do this? And how much money are you going to lose by trial and error? How much potential profit are you going to miss out on? How much time and energy are you going to spend trying to do this on your own? Then you got to ask yourself, how would things be different if you did it and it worked like we talked about? You know, there's an expression that the best time to plant an oak tree is 20 years ago, so you can be under it now, enjoying its shade. Do you know when the second best time is? It's today. It's not too late to begin to prepare your retirement and learn to generate income. This is going to be one of those deciding days in your life. It's going to be the day that you decide to take action, set yourself up for secure retirement, or is it going to be the day you look back on where you squandered an amazing opportunity to create an income stream? I hope you don't regret the decision. Don't miss this opportunity. I look forward to working with you in class. So again, all you got to do is go to www.optionspaycheck.com and get yourself registered. That $9.95 price is only available while we're live on the webinar. Okay, so if you've never taken the course before and you want the lowest price, you're seeing it right now. Don't wait. I don't want you to miss out. Just go to www.optionspaycheck.com, fill in the details, and do me a favor. If you're in, let us know. Just, hey, Ron, signing up now. Just tell us I'm in. We'd love to welcome you to the class by name. Now, before we get to the Q&A, I want to cover some of the most basic questions right off the bat. Number one, I told you that this is a live course, but you can also watch it via recordings. What happens if I miss a live session, and when are the live sessions? Well, the class formally kicks off on Tuesday, April 30th. So next week is our first welcome session. Registration closes at 10 a.m. next Tuesday. At 4:30, we're going to get together. We're going to have a welcome session. And then Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to do our first mastery session. So what you need to do, all the modules are out there for you right now. You're going to sign up today. You're going to get access to everything except for VectorVest and Options Pro. That starts on May 1st. So you're going to get access to all the classes. I want you before next Wednesday to watch Module 1 and Module 2. Because on Wednesday, May 1st and Thursday, May 2nd, we're going to get together and we're going to talk about them live. Then Friday, we're going to have a general Q&A on Modules 1 and Modules 2. That's going to be at noon. Now, we put a lot of live sessions out there because we want to try to hit everybody's schedule. If you cannot attend the live session, don't worry. I record all of this stuff. You can very easily, within a couple hours at the end of the live session, you can go out there and watch the recording of that session. You can even send me an email and say, hey, Ron, I can't be at the mastery tonight, but could you please cover this for me? And I'll do it. Then you can watch the recording. So you're going to learn all 8 modules in the first 4 weeks of the class. After that, on Tuesday, May 28th, on Tuesday, we're going to do a combined S&P 500 and stock trading class. We're going to implement this together for the first time. You can follow along if you'd like, take the same trades I do, up to you. Or you can just watch me do it. It's cool. Then Wednesday at 4:30, and then Friday at noon, we're going to have office hours. What are the office hours? Well, again, we're going to repeat the process of finding trades. We'll cover the trades that we're already in, show you how to manage. Now, the cool thing about that Wednesday class, by the way, is for those of you that are still working and can't place your trades during the market day, I'm going to show you how you can find trades after the market closes and put orders in for the next day. So we're going to continue that through the month of June. And we're going to wrap up the class on June 21st with our last office hours. Okay, that's the live courses. Now again, if you can't attend live, don't worry. We record everything. You'll be able to watch the recordings within a couple hours typically of the live session. Now, Greg, another person that took the course. Prior to the course, I was struggling with knowing how to protect myself when the market was moving away from me, and I feared if I didn't fix it, I would lose more of my portfolio than I could afford to lose. After taking the options paycheck course, I feel better prepared to trade and much more confident. In the first month, I made a net of $10,200 from my options income trading with 9 winners and 1 loser. I would absolutely recommend the course. It was well done, very educational and informative. It's an excellent educational opportunity I'm thankful I took advantage of. Don't let fear hold you back. You will make more in the first month than you paid to take the course. I was one of the fence sitters who didn't take this course for a long time when I saw it offered. I lost a lot by not taking the program sooner. I'm very grateful and appreciative of the work that was put into making the training program available. Now, the second thing is, how much options experience do I need? Well, we sent out a survey to all of our graduates who have taken the course, and 85% of them have said you can be successful with little to no prior options experience. So if you're new, have confidence you can do this. Say it to yourself, I can do this. Just a few more of our clients in the past who've taken the course. Cheryl, I've surpassed my expectations. I don't need the money back guarantee. I tripled my investment. Frank, I already have a profit of $7,300 before the course. It was a crapshoot. Now I believe in the options trades I'm doing. Cam says he's made the initial investment back so many times over. Even though it's a small part of my portfolio, it's probably the most profitable. Jake, I finally found a method of making consistent winning trades with a high probability of success. And some of our most recent students. Neville said, thanks for the wonderful course. Within a short period of time, you've opened our eyes to many things. Your experience, enthusiasm, and your desire to teach comes through easily. You put a lot of effort and thought in the training manual, already paid for the tuition with a few Delta 35 SPX trades. David, the paycheck experience is by far the best course I've ever attended in all my years of VectorVest. Since 99, you've eliminated my fear of options trading. The manner in which you presented the material is truly outstanding. Ben, the attention I received for all my email questions was above and beyond what I expected. A lot of my questions were demonstrated in class, which made my learning much easier. Great job. So again, go out there, www.optionspaycheck.com, get yourself registered. $9.95 is the cheapest price you're going to find the course at if you've never taken it before. Registration closes next Tuesday at 10 a.m. And listen, again, if you know what's right for you, sign up, give us a quick shout out. All right, let's do this. Let's officially start the Q&A, and we'll answer any questions that you might have.
All right. Hey, Ron.
Hey.
Hey, great session, by the way. Those of you who are in, you should get an email pretty soon. You probably get it later on today, and then you'll have access to the course as soon as you get that email. So keep an eye out for that email. If you don't see it in your inbox, check your junk or your spam folder, because we're really excited to start the course, and can't believe it's only a week away before the first session. So get in there and start going through the course. In fact, Ron, we usually do this a little bit later, but I think it'll answer some of the questions that I know people have right now. Would you be able to kind of show people what the course looks like so they can see kind of how thorough it is,
Sure.
all the materials you give, and it'll answer some of the questions about the recordings and where they are and basically everything that's in there.
Yeah. So once you sign up, and again, you're going to get access to this right away. Okay. So once you sign up, this is what you're going to get. You're going to be able to go into our university site. And the first thing I would tell you to do, go to your course curriculum checklist and just print that out. Because not only is it basically a checklist of everything that we want you to do for the modules. Now remember, you're going to watch the modules on your own. We want to make sure you do all of these steps for each module. Make any notes that you have or any questions for the mastery session. That's great. Okay. But most importantly, all the way on the bottom, this is the schedule. So this is the schedule of all of the live events. Okay. That's the schedule of all the live events. Print that out. That way you're never surprised when a live event is coming. Now, underneath that, these are the modules. Now remember, you're gonna watch the modules on your own. So if I open up the recorded lessons, you're gonna see the snapshot and the lessons and the module review and action items. Then underneath that, you'll see the review questions. We have little quizzes for you. And then every module has an action item. So we don't want you just to learn it. We want you to actually do it. So for those of you that have never done it before, we actually have a walkthrough video that you can see. And then there's an FAQ section. All right, frequently asked questions. And then right below that, this is where you're going to find the mastery session recording. So May 1st, we're going to do the first mastery session with you. Within a couple hours at the end of that course, you're going to open up the mastery session recording, and you're going to see a link with May 1st on there. That's going to be where you watch the recording of it. So if I click on this link right now, there's actually already one there from my last options paycheck class, and that's cool. But this will be overwritten, okay, for your class. Now, as you go forward, you're going to see all the modules 2 through 8. And then underneath that, you're going to see the SPX trading system. So if you want to jump right in and trade the SPX, there's your chance to do it. You're going to see a link for the Q&As and office hours recordings. Now remember, this is not the link to the class. This is where all the recordings will be. So next Friday, or on Friday the 3rd, if you open up week 1, you're going to see the recording there. You can see right now it says February 2nd. How do you know when the recording's there? Because it'll say May 3rd. And you're going to see all the links for office hours and Q&As through all the 8 weeks of the course. You're going to see the recordings for the live trading sessions down here. And if you want, you can even open those up right now and you can see what my trades were back in the last class I did. And again, those will be overwritten for all of your live sessions. We're giving you a trial of Options Pro, which starts on May 1st. The videos, if you want to watch some of the tutorials, are right here. You don't have to watch the tutorials if you don't want to. We're going to teach you how to use Options Pro as we go through the course. So you don't have to worry about learning stuff you'll never use. We've got broker help videos all the way through here. And then finally, in this first lesson section, down here is the live webinar section. If you need a link, now we send out a link 24 hours before the class starts. If you miss your link or you don't have a link to the live session, just open up the live webinars, and then here's a link for all the live webinars. So if you find yourself, hey, it's Tuesday, it's April 30th, and I don't have a link to tonight's class, go to the university site. There's your link right there, just in case your email provider put it in spam or clutter or didn't deliver it. All of the links you're going to need for all the live sessions, they're all right here for you all ahead of time. If I go into resources, this is where you're going to find all the handouts. So lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and all those things, if you want to print out a PDF slides of those, here's all your action items, here's all your slides. Later on, when you get into modules 7 and 8, we have a couple more things like the sizing worksheet. We have the checklist for credit spreads. And even with the SPX, we have all of the checklists for order entry of Thinkorswim and everything that you're going to need for the course. So you're going to get access to that right off the bat. So you'll be ready to start watching module 1 right from the start.
All right. Thank you, Ron. There were some questions on the YouTube stream from students who took the course with you some time ago. And so they were what we consider alumni, asking how much it would cost to take it again. Because some people say, well, why does people need to take the course again? Well, Ron's been teaching his course for a while, like several years. There's some people who just want, it's been a few years and they just want to get back in and get a refresher of all the rules and see the updates, because Ron redid the course, all the training videos and materials a couple of years ago, and updated everything. So some people say, oh, let me get back in there and see all the new updates. Some people just say, hey, I want to go through all Ron's coaching sessions again, because I get to watch him place trades in real time. So if that applies to you, if you've taken this course before, it's only $495. We would have sent you an email with a private link in it. But if you didn't get that email or can't find it, just call our office. I'll have our team put our phone number in the chat. John or Todd, can you put the phone number in the chat and let everybody know the phone number if you want that alumni rate, and our team can pull up your account and make sure you qualify. All right, so it's optionspaycheck.com. The $9.95 rate is only valid while we're live on today's session, and then it'll go back to $12.95. Registration closes in about a week, next Tuesday, so you have about a week to get in, and that gives you time to actually, if you register today, to start going through the training. And like Ron said, you can go through jump right ahead to the bonus area and go through the SPX training and start placing those trades probably you could learn it in an hour and a half probably and get in there and start placing trades right away. All right. So with that, Ron, we just had a couple of questions. If you do have a question, folks, put it in the chat. This one is from Joe. He's watching on the YouTube stream. He says, how long does each of the live sessions average?
About 60 minutes or so. We try to keep them, they might go sometimes an hour and 15, but I really do my best to try to keep them to right around 60 minutes.
All right. And remember that the mastery sessions, these are the training is going to be in the videos, in the material that comes as soon as you register. The mastery sessions, Ron could go if there's a lot of questions, you can go longer, but keep in mind that you can go through the training immediately. All right. So, Joe, great question. Let us know if you have a follow up, and I'll just post it in the chat. And if you're on the GoToWebinar side of things, if you have a question, let us know as well. Some other questions, Ron, from people. What size account is ideal, or is there a size of an account that's like was it it's not Goldilocks? Is it Little Red Riding? Whatever the thing with the porridge. Is it too small, too high? Is there an account? What size account is good?
Well, you can do it for as little as like 5 grand. You can open up an account and trade one contract to the S&P. And people always ask me, Ron, what's a good size to start with if I have a little bit of flexibility? I always say, 25 grand is a good place to start. If you want to just start with that kind of an amount, that's going to allow you to trade a couple contracts of the S&P. It's going to allow you to dabble in some stocks. It's just a good starting amount. And that gets your feet wet. Get your feet wet, understanding how to get in the trades, get out of the trades, everything that you need to do to be successful. And then you can jump it right up from there. So 25 is a good, I trade 100, which, I've been doing this for a long time, obviously. So, I trade a little bit more. But, ultimately, listen, you can trade, I would say realistically up to, usually $400,000 or $500,000 is what you can do, and it's just up to you, really.
All right. And folks, we really do believe this course changes lives. Like that, we've taught this course, and Ron and I and the team here at VectorVest, we put it together back originally in its original form. It was at the OG, the original form back in 2016. And the only way that we could still continue to teach and sell this course is if it actually gets results for people. And Ron showed just a little piece of the testimonials that have come in from this course. And I can say firsthand that I've seen and talked to the people where this has changed their lives. In fact, just yesterday, we got another gentleman who said he wanted to do a video interview with us because of the results that he's gotten. So we're going to do a video interview with him next Tuesday. So it's we hope that you're going to be the next video interview after you sign up for the course. So I think that's probably a good spot to wrap things up, Ron. So I'm going to, with that, just pass it over to you. You can say whatever you want to wrap things up. And we look forward to everybody signing up before registration closes next Tuesday.
All right. Well, thank you, Brian, and thank you to all of you that attended and stayed with me for this hour and looks like about 25 minutes. I definitely appreciate it. And for those of you that signed up, thank you. Thank you for putting your trust in us. We're going to do our best over the next 2 months to really make it so you can implement this just like a lot of our prior clients have. So thank you again. And for those of you that are on the fence, just let us know. Give us a call at our office. Let us know what we can do to help you make that decision. So thanks again, everyone. We'll see you next time. Hopefully, we'll see you next week for the start of our live event. And have a great, profitable 2024. Thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.